Yo. We got to wait for the 10-second intro, but it is the best Thursday of this week.
That is the best Thursday of this week.
We talk car audio. We say random things. Dean may or may not cuss. Just depends on how he's feeling. Is he spicy tonight? Who knows?
Uh,
He
Maybe.
might be tired.
Oh, I'm
So
good. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me
12,
started.
12 days of giveaways, man. How's it going?
It's going well, actually. We've only had, I guess, like one or two guys that don't understand how the thing works. So
Yeah.
so we'll start to add that concept in because everyone's like, well, there was only 5 people that entered. It's like, no, there was hundreds of people that entered, but we
I
need to
just picked
whittle it
5.
down to 5 people
Yeah.
so that the show can go on and we can all go home and go back to bed.
So you and Nando aren't cutting pieces of paper
Yeah, yeah,
200 times. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, ideally that would be cool, but it's hard to sync up like email to that.
Right.
Like,
I did. I wanted to enter for the Hag Talar.
yeah,
Those
you
those
should have.
things those things. I need to just buy one. They seem pretty dope.
Yeah, they are. I don't know what they cost.
Are those stationary? So it's not portable, right? It's just like
No,
meant
no,
to be
it's
in your
made to
house,
just like go right into that standard.
that kind of thing.
Um, yeah. Actually, it's funny you mentioned the shirt. HKI is Saturday, and we were on the phone with them trying to figure out. We made everyone just do simple questions, like nothing, like just something. No, like take a picture of this. None of that. It's just simple questions because I don't want to deal with it. you
Yeah.
know, if I had it to me, I'd just be like, all right, anyone that emails me today is eligible to win. But
Right.
we want
Exactly.
we want to have some fun with it, you know. And so he goes, well, just ask him what your favorite Star Wars character is. And I go, I don't know if enough people know that one, you
Yeah.
know. But I'd be curious, like who the first person is that would be like, who's Dean's favorite Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Um,
Start popping them in there. Let's see what you guys think.
yeah, I mean it's not a really tough one, but
Yeah.
I mean there's a whole bookshelf of them behind me, but whatever.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, Dave got it. Yeah. So I figured there'd be like a couple guys that got it, but I knew everyone would be pissed because they couldn't Google it.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be like, oh, I don't know what his favorite. And then some asshole would put like Mandalorian down. And I'd be like, dude,
That'd be
not only are
funny.
you not winning today, you're not winning at all.
Yeah. I just blocked you on everything.
Yeah, yeah, Chewbacca. That's Brian's dog,
No.
man.
Do you still like Boba Fett after the series?
So all right. So here's this thing I came to a long time ago in my life is that I realized that everything that I liked as a child is eventually going to be destroyed as an adult.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean they're just someone's going to come along and screw it up. That's why I don't get tattoos because all the things that I like are not my intellectual property. They're somebody else's. So
Yeah.
it's like it just took Disney to translate Boba Fett out and make him something that
Weird.
really they could have done a better job on. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. I
Huh.
mean, because he started out like, holy shit, yeah, bro. When he
Right.
came in and just kicked ass with his little gaffy stick. But
It got weird. It got weird.
yeah, yeah, it's like they had a 2 episode run and they stretched it into too many, and then
Yeah.
they added the Mandalorian in there, and it's like,
It's
I
like
don't want
naming
to be
your kid Khaleesi. You name your kid Khaleesi,
Mm-mm.
and then you're like, oh my god, she's a psychopath.
Right.
Well, you should have waited to the end. Got to wait to the end.
No, I mean I like R2D2. There's a where's he at? There's a giant R2D2. There he is. Yeah, there's a giant R2D2 right there. So, you know,
I mean, who
there's
doesn't?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I have the Lego R2D2. He's like
Yeah,
giant and all that other shit. But no, I'm a Boba Fett guy.
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
All right, car audio, man. I have a topic, and I
I know.
want I want chat to play along here.
Ooh, chat. Here we go.
Yeah, I want you guys to
Hey,
put
Bobby.
what is the cool stuff that came out in 2022 or released in 2022. So don't tell me, a kicker amp from last year or a kicker amp that has announced but not released. So
Woo. Sorry, that last side J comment was perfect. Disney will turn him into a her, and his pronouns will be you.
yeah.
Dude, Bob Iger's back. That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. Iger's back. It's not gonna happen. That's all I gotta say to that. We'll put a button on that topic. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I have a list and actually
Oh,
one of them's
very
already
good.
popped up. One of them's already popped up. So this is like the beefiest 5-channel that ever existed. So for like the bass heads
Yeah,
that need a ridiculous amount of power, let me share it and because I cannot remember how many
it's like
watts
2,000 watts or some ridiculous thing like that.
for the sub channel. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So let's go on here.
and it's almost free. I mean, let's
Yeah,
be honest.
190 watts by 6.
Has Derek dynoed this thing?
Yeah, he did. Wait,
Is it-
did he? Maybe he didn't.
I would just be curious how close it gets to this.
I think it's underrated. I don't. Derek's in the chat, so he can let us know because I often see like what Derek has done before it's released. So
Right.
yeah, he says yes.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it did power. I'm assuming it did power then. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. You know,
It is ridiculous.
naturally, I'll side jag on this. So 4 ohm, 120 by 6, and 1,000 by 1. So when Audio Control first announced the D5 1300, and when Chris worked for Audio Control, he was like, "Hey, we're going to come out with this amplifier, and it's going to be 200 watts by 4 and 1,000 by 1."
Wow.
And everyone was like, "Oh, this is going to be so cool because it'll have a DSP, it'll be all that." And then it eventually kind of shrunk down to it's like 100 watts by 4 and 500, it's like 800 by 1. And, it was kind of like, oh, bummer. But there was actually a reason for it, because a lot of people will be like, well, what the hell? And the reason actually came down to the heatsink size.
It was gonna have to be too big.
Well, so they only have 2 heat sinks. They have the smaller 4-channel, and then they have the bigger 1500. And so the 6-1200 and the 1-1500 and the 5-1300 all go into one heatsink, and then the 4.8 and the 1.8 go into the other heatsink. So the biggest heatsink they had access to, because you got to buy the heatsink and have that tool, they had that heatsink custom made, and it was like stupid amounts of money to have a custom made heatsink. Not just a color like this where they engrave it. Literally, the Audio Control is like a one-off heatsink.
Right.
And it was
these
like,
are extras too. They're like the US amps used to be, so they can do
yeah. No, these are sexy. I like the way these look.
Yeah.
But there again, it's way easier to do that than to have that multi-panel, whatever the frick they do. So the reason why the amp had to shrink down to the size it is was because of how much heat it could dissipate. Whereas JP clearly,
yeah, it's
wheels on that bitch,
dude. It's a 21-inch amp. So
yeah.
It's large and in charge. Yeah, it's not for a little simple install.
No, dude. If somebody showed up to that and was like, "Hey, I want to put this in my car," I'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
No. Do you have a place for it? I figured you no. Anytime a conversation starts like I figured you could find a place.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Like you had to have an idea already. This ain't going under the seat, bro. This thing's huge.
No, not at all. Especially with the wires coming out of the ends like that. No.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty badass. That's pretty badass. And I know at some point he'll probably make that with a DSP in it, and it'll be 24 inches long, and it'll be hey, I think it's great.
More power.
So
I did. So do you have one? I
no,
have
just keep going. I'll because all mine are.
So this one, I'm pretty sure this just dropped in 2022. Alpine status. Now, of course, we know F1 status, which is obviously a step cooler than this, but like unobtainium for most people.
It's unobtainium.
And this here, while on the higher end, I think people can
That's
afford
reasonable.
this. Right,
Well, okay, so a three-way set for $1,000. That's a
right.
deal. That's a deal.
I
And
agree.
so status replaced X. Okay, so they wanted to kind of put a bridge between the regular stuff, SR
Right,
and F1 status. So they figured that they could bring in and call it status, and probably one of their bigger mistakes, because status and then F1 isn't enough of a differentiation for
right,
most people to figure out. So now they're spending a ton of time and money on differentiating F1 status from status. So it kind of sucks. Oh,
right.
Vera's got a set. Nice. Nice. Um yeah, I don't know. I have no use for that.
Right.
Um
So I thought this only came with the F1 status. I didn't
no,
know
no,
that
this
this.
is a whole different piece. This is a standalone piece that they made in Asia, that they
Okay.
brought over here to the States. Because over there, that thing is, dude, they've had that thing for like, I want to say like a year or two now. That thing is like,
Yeah.
everyone gets that because they have a different way of listening to music than we do. So, they do things differently. But that amp, the D90, 12 channel car amplifier with digital signal processor, 50 watts RMS times, that thing, that's going to be cool. That's still a big ass footprint. So,
Is it? That's what I was just clicking on it to look at to
yeah.
see.
I don't know if I've seen that, but the power rating on it is what makes it cool. So it's 11, 16. Yeah, anytime yeah, that's
Wait,
big.
is that's 2 and
Oh,
5
it's 2 and 5
sixteenths?
sixteenths. Oh, so it's
Yeah.
not that big. It's like
Yeah,
11
it's
by 11. So it's
11
a
by
square
11. Yeah.
foot. See, I hate that. I hate that they do that. That drives me crazy. It's like, damn it, why make it it's not a tile. Stop making
I
it a
want to
tile.
Listen, Alpine is bad about this. They want the
Yeah,
squares. They've been doing it since the PDX or maybe even earlier than that.
yeah, it sucks. It drives me
Yeah.
nuts. But I
Yeah.
like the power rating on this.
Right.
Because it's 50 watts by 8 and then 160 by 2. So this is great because you can still bridge the channels. I think.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure because some of these amplifiers you can't bridge. So like all the
Right.
Helix stuff can't be bridged because it's already bridged.
Mm.
So all their amplifiers are already pre-bridged, but they can do 2 ohm. But
Oh,
it's
this has also 10 channels, so you can DSP your sub out.
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah. That that'll be interesting. I don't know where that's gonna fall in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, and also I didn't have them pulled up here, but also a shout out to the Halo subs that I think came out earlier this year. The ones where you can connect the boxes with their little bridge.
Yeah.
It's not like rocket science, but I think it's kind of
No.
cool.
No. And honestly, over the year, Alpine has really made some really good sounding and looking prefab boxes.
Yeah.
Like they've always done a really good job at that, and they're always expensive. And people always go, "Oh my," and it's like, dude, no, trust me, it's
They
gonna
thought about
sound
this.
good. You're not
Right.
gonna be disappointed. But yeah. Software is janky. Setting don't. Yeah. Well, okay. There again. Listen, anytime you get up into a processor that has that many channels, I can tell you right now, software is going to be janky because it's too much shit to set up. I mean, I spent the better part of the day playing with a Helix, the 12, the V12,
Yeah.
and I was ready to kill myself because the combination of 12 channels of DSP and a Windows machine that just does Windows shit.
I know.
I got my
poison.
trackpad sensitivity turned all the way down. Like you should be able to drop a brick on it, and it, you should have to be like, no, man, even turned all the way down, it's like shit all changed. Go on, motherfucker.
Yeah. I felt the same way with the JBL. I was like, I'm gonna do a dyno on it, and then I started messing with it. No output. I messed with it again. Like, what do I got wrong?
Well, no, dude, we had that same problem today too. We're tuning the mid bass, and I'm over here looking at, because there's 10,000 things on the screen, and I'm over here looking at this one thing, and I'm hitting the button, and it was still clicked on input control. So as I'm hitting the button, and I think I'm changing something over here, it's turning the input gain all the way down. So then we lost all the sound. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? Yeah. Like, we're on speaker number 2, and it's already giving us shit. This is awesome.
Yeah, it was like, I had it all hooked up, and I was like, you know what? Woosah, we're not going to do this today. You're going back on the shelf, bro. We're gonna mess with something else right now.
Yeah. Oh no,
you don't have that luxury. When you're
no. I no, and I got in early to start playing with it because I knew it was going to need like 6 software updates and all this other horse shit. And well, that's DSP life, man. It's just like, okay, let's figure out where they put that button.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm interested in getting in my hands on an 830 Pro too, because that's gonna.
Who is it? Who is it?
I know, it's so sexy. You know, now, and so there again, that's that funny world of, you know, like that, the A30 Pro.
Right.
To me, that's a big deal this year that shipped, because Moscone has never had a ultra high end with a DSP in it. Now, most of the people that are in the comments are not going to, like, they're going to be the guys that might go over and look at that. And some of you guys are going to go, that's not too bad. Some of you guys are going to go, I can get the JP 77. I can get 5 of those for the price of that. Why would I buy that? It's like, it's not the same thing.
You know? Yeah. 2 different people looking at 2 different things.
Yeah.
They have completely different reasons for wanting it.
Oh, the D90
that thing, dude,
audio
thing is freaking sexy.
Yeah,
man.
it's sexy. It's sexy. And their software, and that's another thing that they came out with this year that's really awesome, is they finally released a huge update to their software. Like, a huge update. I mean, it literally took it from like, are you kidding me, to, yeah, I'm going to use that. Like, I want to play with that stuff.
How do you feel about these inputs, outputs? I like them, but I know some people don't.
It's really kind of a love-hate. Trust me, it took me a minute to get used to them. You know, because it's an over-under, or it's a side-by-side. And it's funny because we took that one all apart. We took our 430 apart, and we actually lost one of the little plastic things that goes into it. And we're like, what the hell is this? And threw it away. And then we're like, oh, why did that fall out?
That's going to cost $100 for that little piece.
Yeah.
If you can even get it.
Yeah. No, you can't. We're just not going to tell anybody.
Exactly.
So, yeah, 90 watts by 4 plus 4 by 170. So the reality is, on like this amplifier is made for highs. I mean, this is made for highs. It's not made for a sub. It has an output to go to a sub. You wouldn't use this. These are 8 channels for highs. That's it. You know.
Yeah. And wait, is this a class AB?
So
yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I know. I was just wondering. I know most of their stuff is class AB still.
Well, they have a lot of D stuff. There's Sony Pro D class stuff that's like amazing sounding, but that's, you know, the 430 is just the magical one.
Right.
You know, so, and that's another thing that came out this year was the Pro 430. So, you know, in the high end world of car audio, you know, we got the 430, the 830, a huge update to the Moscone. We got the Focal K2Ms,
right,
which are like next level fucking crazy. That tweeter is just like, it's a mid range. It's badass. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that thing it's a tweeter. It's on their page. So if you go to focalamerica.com,
okay,
or it's a Focal America, yeah, it's got to be. I stare at it all week. So, the tweeter is it's the opposite of a high frequency mid range. It's like a low frequency tweeter. So
which are my favorite kind.
So, but this is different. This uses a conventional motor structure. So it's not a tweeter. You can click on it if you, click on that, and that uses that, and then they'll have a breakdown of each speaker. So like just click on the tweeter
right here.
So it uses like you got to see that they have a side profile of it if you go to the tweeter itself, which is up top. If you go right there where it says click on that.
All right.
And then scroll down, there should be pictures of the tweeter. Yeah, there you go. So if you, that back image right above that one. Nope, right above that one. Yep. So if you look close, you can see the gap because it looks like a miniature speaker. So there's a spider in there, and that's the gap. So it's a tweeter with a spider.
Wow.
So if you look at the specs, like it's designed to play down to like 800 hertz or 600 hertz or some stupid thing like that. But the power handling at that low ass frequency, as we talked about last week, is nothing.
Right.
So it's like 50 watts. So the Emma guys are gonna eat this fucking thing.
They're gonna love it.
Oh my god, dude! Every Emma guy is like pulling out their tweeters to put this thing in their dash because you can play this thing down to go up to the top there. What is it? No, right there in the middle where it says specs.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah, 600. The frequency response is 600. So even if you double that and cross it over at 1.2, the tweeter that plays that. I mean, the morale plays pretty freaking low. Like I've played a morale. I played the big morale tweeter down that low before. But there again, low wattage, like 70 watts.
Right.
Nothing to get excited about. But dude, that thing is it's a softball, man. That's gonna be a badass. And everything's a la carte.
Yeah, I do like that. Back in the day, that's how it used to be too.
Yeah. And then Focal also came out with the slate fibers this year.
Oh, let's look at those.
Which is an affordable high-end component set. So
would that be under performance? Yeah.
Yep, slate fiber. So the slate fiber comes in right before flax.
Nice.
So it's a unique speaker. They only make a coaxial and a component. But what's cool is they kind of stole that Infinity dual crossover setup, where Infinity used to make the two boxed crossovers that you could separate or connect together. So they're kind of doing the same thing. Which, hey, I don't care as long as there's two crossovers, so I don't have to bury. You know what I mean? I'm cool with that. So
right.
And
then I get it from the look.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And then they came out with the whole brand new auditor line, which is the whole new entry level line. So, Focal dropped between Focal, Moscone, and Gladen, but we lost Illusion. So that's a tear.
Oh, Illusion's done.
Illusion is done. Yeah, that's a sad story. So one of the manufacturers that has been making Illusion for years and years and years, they're made out of India, closed down. And so they took all of the equipment from that manufacturing facility and moved it over to another manufacturing facility. And they hired all the people that were making it and moved. Basically, the guy that owned the manufacturing place was like, I'm out. And they're like, okay. So they hired all the people. They went to another company. And they said, hey, we want you to hire all these people and take all our stuff, move it over to your facility and make our speakers. And so they're like, yeah, no problem. And they're like, well, how soon? 90 days. 90 days turned into 19 months. And then the first container came and it was like 40%.
Dang.
Just went into the trash can.
No way.
So it was like, no, fuck it, we're out. So it's not gone forever. But I can't comment past that.
Insert dad joke.
Yeah. And there again, the name, yes. And that was funny because it was like the name just doomed us from the get-go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a fucking illusion.
So let me pop this one up. This was cool. I didn't know that Derek done an old DLS amp that he got new in box. It came with a parts list sheet for every cap and transistor in there, the name brand of it, where it was sourced. You ever seen anything like that? That was
So
insane.
my buddy Ada, his the aerospace are his favorite speakers. Like
Yeah.
hands down, you go, what would you aerospace? You don't even have to ask. It's like aerospace. So at some point we're gonna get a set to put in Fernando's car. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because
That'll definitely be.
when we heard the system in Mike Rios's car, the Stinger, like, dude, that thing was fucking badass. So
I definitely want to check some of those out. I'll tell you something that I was pretty excited about.
okay.
And I ordered this as soon as I knew that it was available. SMD is making combo blocks.
Yeah.
These are dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, we had a guy, we did a Durango last week.
Yeah.
The first part of the week, the first 3 days of the week, that was a nightmare. Because it just took forever and we didn't get any sleep. And he had the speaker cup, not the magnetic one, but just the one that screws in inside the box. They have Allen keys and shit.
Right.
And dude, I'm just staring at it, looking at all the because he laser cuts and CNCs the whole thing, and I'm just looking at what goes into that fucking speaker cup, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's like 10 pieces of plastic, and plus the brass, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
That's like when you see these, people might. I mean, I think this is like extremely cheap. I expect them to go up in price because when you get it in your hands, but also like as soon as this is made in mini A&L, dude, I know he's doing something.
Mini?
He's starting to.
Okay.
And as soon as it happens, I'm ordering it across the board because I'm ready. This thing is awesome, but it is big. It's like the size of a small amp.
Yeah, it looks huge.
Right in it. I think it's almost 10 inches.
Wow,
I have the 3.
Way too big for my life.
Right.
I
think even the mini ones will be bigger than an average fuse block.
Yeah, well, of course, because that's his look.
Right. But I think you could get them small enough to do, like it would be. I mean, these are meant to be showpieces.
100%. These are not made. These are not hideaways, which is what I deal in. So
right.
But we got a set of the other ones that are yellow that we bought for Fernando's car. That we never did. So we got a really nice set of brass SMD fuse holders, and it's like, one of these days we'll use these, or we'll just keep them as nostalgia. Remember when Steve used to make them like this?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was pretty cheesed when I seen these. I was like, I'm ordering one instantly, and I'll find a spot for it in the Trooper. I might have to do something.
Amazing how much this has turned into for him, because it's like you look at so Metra, they still make their they just came out with all those earlier this year or late last year, all the whatever the hell they're called. I think dumb names, but the ones I like, they're compact, they're dual.
Is it that didn't T-Spec do some of those too?
T-Spec, yes, thank you. The T-Spec.
Okay.
Like those new T-Spec ones, I love them. I love the new T-Spec, and it's like, we were talking with them, and at first the torque screw was pissing me off, but then I started using them. I'm like, oh no, I love the torque screw. And they were showing me something else, and they're like, look at these, and I go, they don't have the torque screw. And they're like, no, it's Allen. I said, no, it needs to be a torque screw. You need to have the screws that are in the T-Spec in this, because these suck. These are bad and like and I think we've talked about it before. When you screw in a T-Spec, the head of the screw is a ball. Yeah, it's not a flat thing. So as you're screwing it in, it's a ball that goes into it, and it just works so much fucking better, man. It's like, dude, these things are awesome.
Do they use all the same? I really wish we could get them to standardize where they use all the same size, whatever it is. That's the way, because a lot of these fuse blocks.
Well, I think that's the thing with switching to Torx, is that everything can be the same size.
Right. Yeah. That's the way.
Dude, trust me. It's I think they're awesome.
That is the way of the future. Now,
definitely the way.
I have something. Listen, we've both had our fun making fun of this. I still think it's cool. I would never run them, but I just think it's, it's a thing. He can't even say
Okay.
anything. I think they look cool.
So I'll give you the same response when I found out about these. I don't know how many years ago. Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Oh, believe me. I gave them sufficient crap in person.
Didn't even bother. That's exactly the answer I said. I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
really? Huh.
I do
Okay."
think they look cool though. I think they look cool.
Oh, listen, man. They're
Yeah.
sitting on the counter at work, and when I go over there to pick up stuff, they're just sitting there, and the S, it's like a racquetball. It's like they just took a racquetball and like whacked it in half and glued it into the center. It's just like this full on hard ball, and it's like wow, that's aggressive. That's really aggressive looking.
Oh, this is a sick burn right here. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Two
too cool.
hole. Two hole.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. No. I don't think they're gonna send us a set of those.
No, probably not.
No. I mean, I
Probably
would
not.
be fine. I mean, I would find something to put them
Yeah.
in.
I do wonder what they sound like. Do they sound like every other pro mid, or
Yeah,
do they
I'm
sound better?
sure. The
Yeah.
only yeah. There's very few pro speakers that just sit there. And go, oh my god, those are so amazing.
Listen, the Beetlejuice. You said kicker 3 times, Andy show. I don't even think we said kicker.
No, I refused it because
he sensed it.
I'm choosing my words very carefully with these because I don't hate on them. I just don't. It's not my thing.
I feel I had to bring them in though. I had to bring them in.
Oh,
They're not my thing either. I just think they look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the Warhorse amp, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until it's in people's hands. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I think there's a dozen of them out there, but
yeah. You need to be able to buy them somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one? Not even gonna say it. Just let you look at it.
Oh, Sony ES.
Yeah. How do you feel about Mobile ES? So they technically came back last year, right?
I think okay. So the problem is it's a 2-part launch. So in the beginning we got part, and then this year we got all the amplifiers. So the amplifiers came out this year. The radio speakers came out the year previous. So the new amps with their ergonomic design came out this year. So, and the 3-way came out this year, and the 12 came out this year. So those 3 products you had right there were the 3 products we got this year in the ES line. So now we have amplifiers. We have a 12-inch instead of just a 10-inch, and we have a 3-way set. So the major complaint that we get are the tweeters too big. It does come apart, but you have to pick the glue off. So that kind of sucks. Yeah.
I've heard some, and I think they sound pretty good in the system that I've heard them in.
Yeah, I have no complaints. I mean, I got a whole set waiting to go into Sue's car. So I have the radio, I have the 6.5 components, the 6.5 coaxials, the 4-channel and the monoblock, all just waiting, and a 10-inch, I think, waiting.
How is this radio, man? Because it looks.
Radio's badass.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a floating screen guy, but I strongly considered this one.
No, that one's badass. That one's really nice. The only complaint that there again, only the negatives, which I didn't think was a big deal, is the buttons on the top, because it has buttons on the top, which to me kind of makes sense because it's like nobody wants them, nobody wants to see the buttons, so you put them on, and then people bitch about it, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
You guys make up your minds.
You make 2 people happy and 10,000 mad.
Yeah. But no, they're really nice. They sound good. They have a ton of options. It's a true 6-channel output, so you can do This is okay. I don't know who would do this, but if you wanted to, you have dual subwoofer output controls. So the left
You
sub
can
and the
do
right
left and right.
sub
Yeah.
are individual, so that you can actually do a level control left and a level control right. So if you wanted to put like a sub up front and a sub in the back, and control them independently, you could do that with the
You know what
radio.
also would be fun? Have two subs in a common chamber and control them independently, just to see what happens.
Bad things. Bad.
Yeah. Oh
I
man,
believe the pre-op voltage on that is 5. I could be wrong though. I only say I think it's 5 because,
that's kind of industry standard.
well, no, there was a conversation I was having with somebody this week, and they were complaining about something, and who the parties that were involved. It only made sense that that would have a 5 volt, so because then it would kind of be pointless for him to have that argument with people. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's a charmed life. Let me tell you what, it's a charmed life for sure. It
it
is
is
5.
5. Yeah,
Hey!
he said he has it. Dean
Yeah,
was
no,
right.
I'm assuming it had to be 5 because of who helped put it together. So if they would have had a 4, they would have caught nothing but shit for that.
Dude, I can't believe this banner hasn't been made yet. I'm doing it right now. I'm fixing a wrong, and I'm gonna put it up here.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
You know, for those of you guys that like the explode stuff, it's still available overseas.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. They still make a 4-channel and monoblock. You can get it overseas.
Dude, I like the. Did you ever see the Mobile ES or remember the Mobile ES Explode, the red, like the big
Yeah,
5-channel?
yeah.
I like that amp. I thought it was underpowered, but it was cool.
So this
It was.
stuff looks identical to that red stuff, but it's
Yeah.
black and it's small. You know, it's
So they
black now.
took
It's not
everything
red.
cool away from it.
No, I mean it was you know, the normal size ones that they had.
Right.
It's those. So it's not like they changed anything. Trust me, they didn't change anything. It's still the same heatsink. It's just black
Is it
now.
the one? So it's the one. Do you remember the one that's like it's about this big and it's just it has 222W on it all the way
No,
across the amp.
no, this one looks normal. This one just
It
looks
looks
like
like a
the
normal
same,
amp.
like the normal iconic, you know, explode. It says explode on it. Anyone know the audio recording quality of the GoPro 10? I had a
think
guy
they're
tell me it sucked, but
yeah, I think they're better than previous ones, but it's still not great.
I had some guy, because I bought the newscaster attachment for mine, and somebody's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's terrible," and I was like, "I mean, it worked fine for me, but you know, whatever,
Yeah.
dude. I need to take my car to you guys to listen, give it to him. I love your opinion." No, you wouldn't. Nobody loves my opinion. No, they don't. Trust me. Nobody loves my opinion.
Just start getting in there, turning every knob.
Oh
Man, I'm
no,
gonna fix
dude, you get in there and it's like, okay, let's just start with balance and fader. Does balance and fader work?
Oh boy, what do I have? Okay, I have another one here. So this one I was also excited about. This is the JY Power, the little handheld one that I have here.
Yeah.
So I haven't got to test it yet, but Travis has tested it online, and it seems pretty stout for what it is, and for $300 for people doing like a factory-ish upgrade, and they're gonna run like 2,000 watts in their vehicle. I mean, this is a pretty solid investment, and you keep it out of the way. So I haven't got to test it yet, so I can't say for sure, but I think it's gonna be pretty cool.
I mean, I'm all for little power supplies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tiny, the size of a hand, and you could just throw it in line. You don't even need. I mean, matter of fact, I don't think it's recommended to even run this with the isolator because it is a capacitor, a hybrid capacitor. Now, I may be wrong, so sometimes Travis is watching. He can correct me.
You're gonna Billy Joel this. You may be wrong. Might be wrong, but you may be right.
Right.
That's what we say. Are we gonna Billy Joel this?
Right. It's still rock and roll, whether I'm right or wrong. Still rock and roll to me.
Well, you know, you just need a cheap pair of speakers.
Yeah. Don't waste your money on an expensive pair of speakers.
Please waste your money.
I did have some other stuff, but I didn't pull them up. So we'll just go. What
Let's
else
go
did I
through.
have? Oh, Rockford Fosgate was sold to Patrick Industries. That happened this year,
Dude,
right?
and let me tell you what, those guys are just buying up everything.
Are they really?
So I was having this conversation with one of the guys, and I was like, this okay, so this is one of those nerdy conversations that like you guys don't think of because it really doesn't pertain to the world that you guys live in much. But so Patrick comes along. Patrick is already a huge company. Like these guys got more fucking money than they know what to do with. They have their hands in so much shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they make RVs. No, they make everything. They make windows. Every aspect of their life. They buy the company to make their life easier. So they
So they're
start
General Electric.
yeah. So they start out buying wet sounds. Found out that wet sounds, yeah, they're okay, but they're not really. All right, we'll buy Rockford. Oh, fuck yeah, let's buy Rockford. Because they were already buying tons of shit from Rockford in the first place.
Yeah.
So then they were like, okay, that's cool. We own Rockford. Now, who's the rep firms that rep Rockford? Let's buy them too. Okay, so so this is where it gets interesting. So think about this. You have what's called a representative. So like on our show we have like Bill Freeman and John Schneid. Bill Freeman worked for a company called MAG Sales. They were the Rockford reps. We'll get back to that. And John Schneid, he's the big guy. He owns his own rep firm called Dynamic Sales. Dynamic Sales handles like he's the kicker guy. He was the audio control guy, not anymore. He's the Orca, so that's Focal, Glade, and Moscone. He does iData. He does their alarms, and he's got like 10 other brands. Okay, so he does Alpine, and so he's the representative. So he'll walk in your store and he'll put on the hat that he is for that day. So like he walks in, I'm Alpine today, and he might have an Alpine national sales manager with him or whatever it is, or he'll walk in and go, I'm kicker today, or I'm kicker for the first 10 minutes and then the last 10 minutes I'm Alpine. So it's a really weird dichotomy. But so now from Patrick's point of view, they go, okay, who are the reps that represent our products? All right. And it's like, so in Florida, it was MAG Sales. We always talk about this guy, Sajecki. He owned MAG Sales. Bill Freeman worked for him. And so Patrick said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy the rep firms that handle Rockford Fosgate. So why you have a representative instead of a sales force is because you want to go to the guy. So in Florida, there's two big ones and there's a handful of little ones. And the two big ones have all the brands. So you want a guy that like knows every car stereo dealer in town. Now, Pioneer, you work for Pioneer. Okay. So like the sales force reports to they all at the end of the week, their check is signed by Pioneer. So it's very weird as opposed to a rep firm. So now by buying the rep firms, instead of just saying we're going to create our own sales staff. So at the end of the day, when you go to Rockford, they have an East Coast, West Coast national sales manager. Those national sales managers hire rep firms to rep their products. And then now, so Patrick went and bought all the rep firms and they have them under a different name. And now they're also buying the distributors that some of the rep firms would use. So what happens is instead of having someone that just like 20 Rockford sales reps, now they have 20 sales reps. And they're not, why that becomes important is because as a Pioneer sales guy during COVID, when they weren't making any product, they weren't selling any product. So you're basically, eating ramen.
Yeah.
But as buying a rep firm, that rep firm that is owned by Patrick, that basically, so Rockford, they're all one company, but that rep firm also reps like Morel and 10 other car stereo brands. So if they're in a town and Rockford ain't moving, then well, that's fine. Well, I sell you one of these other 10 brands. So the company's still making money no matter what.
Yeah, they're making money coming and going either way.
Yeah. So it's like it's just one of these things where you look at it and go, God damn, that's fucking genius.
Yeah. Like you don't like this? What about this?
Well, and being a rep firm, it's always happened, but it's never been the manufacturer owns the rep firm that also reps 10 other products, so that their sales force is always making money. So you don't have to worry about your guys going hungry and leaving and all that other crap. So at the end of
Right.
the day, you keep that guy happy. And so you keep the dealers happy. And like I said, this is that weird circle of life that
Is the government gonna have to jump in and break up Patrick at some point?
no, not at all. No, not a chest. German Maestro is still, so they just moved. We reported on this last Friday. They just, our guys moved from Miami up to like Virginia, I want to say. They've been talking about it for a while. The facility they had down in Miami was way too small for what they were doing. Because they were a retailer as well as this was kind of their, the son really didn't want to do retail. He wanted to get into this, and the dad still wants to do retail. And so this was the compromise. They got out of Miami, bought a bigger facility, were able to put their tools in all that because they were big into CNC and manufacturing. So what I think you'll see, putting the pieces of the puzzle on the table, I think what we'll see with German Maestro is in the next 2 years, we'll start to see more German Maestro style plug and play stuff. So we'll start to see like an F-150 system or a Jeep system or something like that, where they could manufacture systems here in the US that can make it easier to sell out to consumers / retailers. So super
Thanks,
stick,
David.
What's
Appreciate
up,
it, bro.
So yeah, there's a lot of weird things that go on behind closed doors.
Yeah,
but
and
it's
if
cool.
you don't know, you don't know. Like if you're out the loop, then you just like, well, what's going on?
No. Yeah, it's really, it's just, to me it was like Patrick is, and that's another thing. We're just waiting to see what Patrick does next, because they're not done. They can't be done.
Yeah, they what else are they doing?
But they're buying up the whole pipeline, which is great.
Right.
But I'm just interested to see how it goes. So it'll be fun.
Thank you, Andy. It's making it rain. So I'm going in with this.
Yes.
Also, Amp Global buys audio control.
Yes.
So, like, do you see a future where it's Amp Global and Patrick? Is it? Are we going that way? And then Kicker, there's just Kicker.
So we know Patrick looked at audio control, and there was a couple other companies that looked at audio control, and I don't know what happened there or why they ended up. Alex really had a thing for Amp Global owning audio control for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like he felt they offered the most technology solutions there for the dream of what was audio control's future. So,
and Amp Global has their fingers in a lot of that type of stuff right now, anyways, like integration type stuff.
It'll be interesting to see what comes from Amp Global over the next 2 or 3 years. They're changing directions right now. They don't want to be your one-stop shop that supplies like butt connectors, ring terminals, stuff like that. They don't want to do that anymore. They want to sell high tens, integrated dash kits, and audio control can play into that really well, because that's buying that pre-packaged system. Like they do a ton of Jeeps. They sell a ton of high 10 radios for the Jeeps. And they're starting to sell them for Chrysler. So a lot of they have they just came out with the 300, the Challenger, the Charger, the Ram, and all the high 10 integration for them. So it's like, and it gives you all the iData style connections where you get your gauges and information, and you don't lose any features. And so the high 10 is going to evolve into a bigger platform for them. Right. And now with owning a DSP software that doesn't suck, and which we'll get an update for audio control software before the end of the year. That's the goal, is that we're going to get the 2.0 software here any day now, which is badass. Like we talked about it with Matthew on the show. You're going to get your parametric EQ, you're going to get your all pass filters, you're going to get 18, 3 crossover, 12, 18, 24 dB. You're going to get the ability to turn off high pass, low pass crossovers. You're going to get all these features that everyone has just been chomping at the bit. Oh, it doesn't have it. It's like, okay, so now it has it.
Yeah.
You know,
Now what?
but and then they're all bitching like, why does it take so long? It's like, well, it's a 5-year-old software that they're totally revamping, and it's like
Right.
there's only when you design a DSP, there's modules inside the DSP that do the DSP action, and so let's say you have 24 modules, and those 24 modules do 24 things, and so you have to reassign those 24 modules to do different things because it's not like you can add 30 modules or, so it's like trying to get creative. It's kind of like watching Apollo 13. What can we make an air breather out of that they have in the capsule?
Yeah.
So
And the thing is, like most companies would just sell you another product. They're not going to be
yeah,
designing, so like
yeah,
you're getting something here instead of having to buy a brand new DSP to get
yeah.
this new software.
And this will go, and the new software will go all the way back. So
Right.
it'll go all the way back to the first the first DM 810 608, D series amplifier. It'll all be there. So, and the nice thing is it's not changing the software as like if you opened up a audio control software and you've been using that same software for like the last 4 years or 3 years or 2 years, and you're comfortable with it, it won't look any different. It won't look any different, but there'll be panes that you can press
To open
and
up new features.
it'll give you new features. And it's like, oh, that fucking makes sense because not everyone needs all pass filters. Most 99% of the users don't know what they are, let alone why you'd even need one in the first place. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't have the tools to test for it, it really doesn't matter either way. So,
Yeah. If you don't have an IRTA, then you know what? You got some trouble.
yeah, you're gonna suck. But and next year we'll be having this conversation about them also.
Oh. Hint, hint.
No, that was just flat out. It's like, yeah, we'll be having that conversation. So, yeah, no, there's a lot of movement going on because there was a lot of things in the fire, that audio control had already started, but it just, it just couldn't happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Should have bought Metro. He said. Who's Metro? Is Metro their own company?
Hmm?
Is Metro their own company?
Metro's privately owned.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Did not
Metro's
know
privately
that.
owned. Yeah. So and that was okay. So that's my bet for Patrick. Is that they buy Metro, but I don't know if they need Metro. That's the difference. So I don't know if that kind of fits into what they're doing.
Seems like they got enough money. They're just like, well, we could just scoop them up.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see how that one would play out.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd be interested to see that one. I need Metro to not get gobbled up by the wrong company if they go onto the table that somebody wants to buy them, because and we do as an industry, we need Metro to stay alone.
Yeah.
Because if AMP moves forward the way they're moving forward, and this is funny because like when you guys talked about, when you and Derek talked about, like, a radio is even a thing, they're doubling down on radios, man, and they're putting radios because, I mean, if you look at like a 2017-18 Chrysler, the screens are decoupling, okay, and the liquid crystals, literally the liquid is leaking out of the radios, okay, and it's out of warranty. And it's a 4-year-old car with a leaky crystal screen that
sucked from the beginning.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Right.
So every one of those cars is going to need a new radio, period. Every one of them. So they have a solution for it. Not only do they have a solution, they have a plug-and-play solution that just goes right into the car and works. It's not some shitty T-spec or T-style radio that like shit doesn't work on and it doesn't sound good. This has got a Toshlink output. It's got a 4-volt preamp output. We expect nothing less from Chrysler. Hey man, I'm with you there. But look at Tesla. Tesla had the same problem. Everybody did. There was just some shitty liquid crystal screens made. So, and there again, 2015, they didn't have CarPlay, and that fucking radio is painful. Oh my god, when we had to drive that Dodge Ram back to, that thing fucking killed us, bro. It was like, dude, put a radio in this for fuck's sake.
Right.
It's a 7-year-old car, but it's still a great, like, who wouldn't want a 2015 truck? Like, to me, that's just like breaking in at that point, but it's 7 years old.
And those had like 4-inch screens or something, 7-inch.
No, it's 7-inch screen.
7-inch,
but still, but you think, you'd see a 2015 and you'd be like, oh, this is a great truck. What year is this? It's 2015. Holy shit, it's 7 years old, almost 8 years old.
Right.
I don't want 8-year-old Bluetooth. Okay. I don't even want 4-year-old Bluetooth because that shit sucks. So all these cars now that came with all this cutting edge tech and touchscreens and shit like that, that's all breaking now. So, radios ain't going nowhere. Now, if you look at the top 1% of that, where you look at like, these big elaborate things that they're building today, that's scary shit because those are all gonna break.
Yeah. And it's all tied in. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a 7-year-old car now where the screen is shit.
Yeah.
What is this 7-year-old Kia Hyundai? What is a Stinger gonna look like? We know what Mercedes looks like when it gets old. Who's gonna buy a 10-year-old Mercedes touchscreen? Oh God! That's what, $4,000 to replace the radio 10 years from now. That's worth more than the fucking car. We laugh in the industry. We go, dude, some of these cars you're gonna total the car when the infotainment system breaks. You're gonna total the car.
They're just gonna put a what the hell was it? I'm trying to think that the one you tested. It's a Bluetooth speaker, but also like a subwoofer.
Oh, the JBL.
Yeah, the JBL. Let's just get one of those.
Bass Hub Go or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Anyways, we went off tangent there. We got enough for one more. Do you got one more we can throw out?
Man, I don't have one more, but are we streaming next week?
What is next week?
It's the week of Christmas. It's on Sunday, but Thursday. So I didn't know what you had planned.
Work.
Okay.
It's just a normal fucking week.
Yeah,
it begins with Monday and ends with Saturday. My week sucks, bro.
Yeah, I'll be working too, but I will have time to stream. So I just want to.
I got nothing going on. If something comes up, I'll let you know. But right now, I ain't got shit going on.
So I thought of an idea. Why don't we do 5-minute segments where someone from chat can join and have a 5-minute topic? I'll set a buzzer.
Okay.
And let's see what they talk about. And if they start sucking, we'll just
drop them.
We'll just drop them.
Just do one of these.
Yeah, just boop. And at the end of 5 minutes, I'm not even going to warn them that 5 minutes is in and up. I'm just boom, going to kick them.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll do it. It'll be fun. So.
All right, so next week, guys, you can come in. We're going to take one at a time, and then you can ask the goofballs.
Yeah, you can ask questions. Tell us good stuff. Yeah. All right. Oh,
all right.
Hold up. I got to share a link. We do another thing.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It could go horribly wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that'll be the last. Yeah, because next week, so we go dark after Christmas. Because after that, it's the 12 days of Christmas. Everything's over. I'm fucking done talking to people. We just sit at work and we're like this.
Yep. And I won't even be back in town until like this third or something.
Shut
So,
up.
I'll be gone.
Screw you. I'm going to Knowledge Fest.
There you go. Have fun, bro.
I'm going to Canada to freeze my ass off.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Come watch us talk about a Christmas movie. A Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Spirited.
Movie.
Yeah. Ooh. Spirited. Oh yeah. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a thing. Yeah.
I told you. It got me too.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yep. Okay. That's the next show.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.